Now batting for the Yankees, number 2, Derek Jeter. Number 2.
Put me in coach. I'm ready to play today. Put me in coach. I'm ready to play.
Welcome to Three the Hard Way Sports Podcast. From three guys who talked sports together over lunch for over 10 years. Probably eating a Fudgy the Whale in that time.
Welcome, everybody, to Three the Hard Way Sports Podcast. I'm Bryan Galloway here with, from Rumson, New Jersey, Alex Shanley. How are you, Alex?
I'm great, Bryan. Yankees made it to the World Series, so life is good. Life is good.
Yeah, I know. But let's see what happens. They got to win. And and we have, from parts unknown, we have Michael Pippersick. How are you, Michael?
Doing great. Great time of the year. And NFL in full swing. World Series, NBA. What could be better?
Yeah, and the Jets still suck. Okay.
Oh.
So
Giants too.
Yeah. Let's make a pact right now. No football talk today because I do not want to talk about the depressing state of New York sports.
At least the Liberty won.
Yeah.
Hold on. Stop. Okay, so we don't want to talk about football because the New York football scene is terrible. So I say, why don't we talk about baseball? Now, just like all the last 5 or 6 episodes, somebody famous has died. So, Mike, why don't you talk about that?
Well, we're kind of sadly joking about this. It's not really a joking matter, but it feels like every week we're doing an in memoriam. And unfortunately, for men of our age, it's always guys that we grew up watching. So I saw the article, and then Alex sent us a text a little while later. But Fernando Valenzuela from the Dodgers, ironically, as the Dodgers are heading into a World Series with their biggest World Series rival, the Yankees, Fernando passes away. And I think we all remember Fernando coming up as a 19-year-old rookie. We can talk about whether he was really 19 at the time, right? But like that skyward motion and that strike shortened season, throwing a screwball, winning the Cy Young and the MVP that year, like that was when I was like 9 years old, and I still remember it, and I remember him for years.
Fernando Mania.
Yeah, like that was massive, right? A Mexican player in LA where there's such a high Hispanic population, the history of the Dodgers with Jackie Robinson. I mean, it was just everything came together in that year for him, and he had this really great career for the Dodgers. And I don't remember as much the other years where he pitched for the Cardinals and some other teams, but I remember as a kid watching him pitch with that big motion and his eyes going up to the sky and, you know, that chubby figure that he had. It was like amazing to watch. And, you know, I watched him because I was a kid and we used to watch This Week in Baseball. I remember there was Monday Night Baseball on TV and stuff. So you get to see teams like the Dodgers if you were outside of LA. So I remember just loving watching Fernando. Because I'm like, look at this guy. He's always like looking up at the sky and his legs up high. As a kid, I thought it was so cool and hysterical to watch. So when I heard like Fernando died, I'm like, oh, I'm so bummed. Like another guy. It's like, I feel like all these athletes in their 60s and 70s are probably looking around every week like, who's next?
Yeah, right.
So it's frightening, man. It's like, God, getting old sucks.
Yeah. I remember a couple things. One, a 0.0 his first year. He didn't pitch in a ton of games, maybe, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 games, but his ERA was 0. And I remember hating the Dodgers because I was a Yankee fan growing up. And I remember them showing his baseball hat and they drew an arrow on the bill of his cap because they said that was showing him where to throw the ball because he'd look up and see the arrow and then throw it.
That's awesome.
And I remember that. And I remember was it 86? He won like 20 games or 21 games, but he had a ton of complete games that year too. And that was the year obviously the Mets won the World Series, but LA, he was just a phenom, right? Like he hit the scene, and it kind of reminds me of Juan Soto a little bit, right? Like, Juan Soto at 19 winning the World Series and carrying that team. And it's got the same sort of feel to it. So I really disliked him when I was a kid, but learned to appreciate him. And I didn't realize, I thought he was he was only a Dodger. I didn't realize that he had bounced around after the 90s.
Yeah,
season.
91.
Yeah,
91, yeah.
he started bouncing around to some other teams, but a great guy and great player. So, and really turned that city on its head. But cool memories for sure.
Yeah, he's there are certain select few people that come into the league and create that much of a stir in a short amount of time. And for example, Mark Fidrich was one,
Yes, the bird. Yeah, that's
right?
right.
And then they're gone, he's gone, right? And Joe Charbonneau, I remember, oh my goodness, that guy
Yeah,
was
he had a great
nuts.
rookie year for the Indians.
Yeah,
Wow,
oh my
right?
God, he was so much fun,
All
right?
these
He was so much.
memories.
He was eating light bulbs. He would chew light bulbs in the dugout during the games. Like, what the heck is this guy doing? He was great. Then he gets hurt, and then that's it. These people that caused that stir. Fernando was amazing. Everybody, again, Alex didn't like him that much, but most people liked him regardless because he was different and he was fun and he was really fun to watch. I went out to see him play, to play against the Mets, believe it or not. And he was just amazing. Watch it, the guy. So he was on a roll. He was great. His career I wish his career had gone longer, but it didn't. And he didn't really take the best care of himself physically. I don't think he was a real big health fitness nut or anything like that. But he was just a lot of fun. And again, nothing was like that at the time. It was like the headlines all over the place. Again, we didn't have social media then. But every newspaper, every morning, like Fernando Mania, like it was nuts. It was a lot of fun. And I like that kind of stuff, when you have that, phenoms. I know Otani's kind of been that way. Maybe not as much, but yeah, I haven't seen anything since then. I know you said Soto had that one run in the World Series. I mean, that was cool, but he's never captured the hearts of America, I think, like Fernando did, and
He
Mexico.
did the other night, captured
Yeah,
the
I know.
hearts of New York.
No, you know that.
Yeah.
But okay,
Brian, the other thing about Fernando is he didn't look like an athlete, right?
no.
But then when you look at the body of work and you kind of forget like how good he was, but and nowadays there are so many specialists and guys don't pitch a lot of innings. There's no complete games, but like from 83 to 87, he averaged 262 innings pitched, right? 13 complete games. He had 255 consecutive starts. Who would have guessed that guy with that body would have started 255 straight games, 20 complete games in 1986, won 21 games in 1986. He had 96 complete games in his first 7 seasons. Like, how many complete games were there in all of Major League Baseball this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, can't have been that many, right? And it's like 96, like still like among the franchise leader in wins, strikeouts, innings pitched, starts, complete games, shutouts. When you think about like all of the great pitchers that the Dodgers have had over their history, right, extending back from Brooklyn, it's an incredible career. Like it really is. Cy Young and Rookie of the Year the same year. I mean, strike shortened season, but still, like he accomplished like so much in his career. And when you think about that it was all under Fernando Mania, right, with all of that excitement and pressure, to me just makes it an even greater accomplishment what he did.
Yeah. But not a Hall of Famer.
No, but sometimes you might say, what did he do for his country? What did he do for baseball in his country?
Agreed.
Yeah, I know he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer, but I again, I think he's got. There's pieces of his memorabilia in the Hall of Fame anyway, so I don't think that's a big problem.
Right.
Yeah, no hitter. He's got a no hitter on his resume as well. I mean, pretty great resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Rest in peace, Fernando. I mean, he's some of my most cherished baseball cards. He had a lot of cool looking baseball cards too. Great guy. Okay. So let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about, we just got through the playoffs, and World Series is coming up. So I think let's just give 5 minutes on the championship series, what we thought, and then we'll do our World Series preview. We'll go through the lineups and see what we think.
I mean, I'll start with Dodgers Mets. I mean, I think the Mets really overperformed this year, and it was great for them. And I realize Met fans are upset they're not going to the World Series because when you get that close, you wanna finish. But they just had a great year, and I think David Stearns is going to build hopefully a great product there and put a really great team together. They have some really tough decisions this offseason. Obviously, they're going to be in the Soto race after the World Series is all done. And, they have the Pete Alonso decision, right? Are you going to pay Pete Alonso what he wants? Boris is his agent, and, he typically goes for all the money in the world. That hasn't worked out in the last few years. He's had a few players that have been left on the sidelines when the season starts. But kudos to the Mets. I think they played a great year. I think, they just missed, and I think pitching fell short. I think they need a lot of pitching next year, and but I think the Dodgers were just too much, and the Dodgers can hit, and the Dodgers have a great bullpen, so it's going to be an interesting World Series, and it's just a matter of who. I think it's really going to come down to who outscores the other team, because I don't think we're going to see any major pitching duels, 2-1 games here. I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring game. So I like it was in the Mets and Dodgers series. And that series honestly was a yawner to watch. I mean, every game was like 10-2. It was like a blowout by the fourth or fifth inning. Whereas on the other hand, you had the Guardians and the Yankees going back and forth in late innings and late inning heroics and home runs and, craziness. So, so for me, the National League was, not a great series. I think the better team won. But kudos to the Mets for having just such a great year. And I don't know how you guys feel about the Mets this year and if you followed it all, but I think they did it. They did it without a whole lot of pitching. And I think it just caught up to them in the series.
Yeah, I thought it was a great turnaround for the season because they were dead in the water in the summer. So I'm not a Mets fan, and I haven't asked Mets fans to see how they feel about the season. I would feel that if I were a Mets fan, I'd be really satisfied with how the season went.
Right.
Turned it around, really came through like in the clutch, like beat the Phillies. It was a lot of fun. Like I liked the energy of the Mets, right? But the pitching, and I agree that the series, I was kind of excited about the Mets Dodgers series. I'm like, all right, East West Coast, maybe we get a Subway series. Every game was a blowout, like one way or the other. I'm like, like it was not even fun to watch. And I'm hanging in there on Sunday watching Game 6, like hoping they can hang around. And they had a couple of shots, and I'm like, they just didn't have it. But if I were a Mets fan, I'd be like really excited, like you said, determining like what they're going to do with the pitching staff, because that was obviously an Achilles heel for them in this series. But yeah, I agree that the Dodgers were just the much better team. I think it was Game 6. I was watching Ohtani comes up, and they put this graphic that he's 18 for 22 in his last 22 plate appearances with runners in scoring position. I'm like, why would you pitch to this guy? And of course, he comes through again. I'm like, okay, here's like two big spending teams, better team won. The Yankee series to me was more reminiscent of what I would expect from a playoff series, like big plays on both sides. Like I thought when the Yankees went back to back on Class A with Judge and Stanton, I was like, all right, this is the old Yankees, right? Been waiting 15 years for this team to get to the World Series. And when the Yankees blew it, I was like, what?
It was a brutal game.
Yeah, because I turned it off because I was like, oh, Yankees are winning. This is like the old Yankees. They're back. Next thing I know, I come back. I'm like, the Yankees lost that game? Like, what happened? So that series to me had a lot of back and forth. And there's obviously some great history in the playoffs between the Yankees and the Guardians back when they were still the Indians. Every time I was watching a game in Cleveland, I kept thinking back to that playoff series where Jabba Chamberlain was on the mound and it was Bugs.
Yeah, and the Bugs,
the midges.
Were attacking.
Oh, my God.
And I kept waiting for – that was awful. That, like, ruined his career after that, too. He was never the same afterwards. And I was, like, waiting for something like that to happen. But it was so cool to watch, the Yankees come back. And then – Game 5 when they closed them out. I was up at Scranton and we were hanging out with like Quinn and all of his teammates after a game, and one of his teammates is like a huge Yankee fan, and I see the kid on the porch, and last I saw the game was 2-2, and I went up there. I was like, "Hey, like game's still 2-2." He's like, "No, he's like Soto hit a 3-run homer." I'm like, "Oh, Yankee magic is back!" And I watched the last out, with Quinn's roommate, and I was like, "This is like so cool, like how unifying it is, right?" Because when we were little kids, the Yankees were great. And then there was like this big lull in the 80s, and they made that run from 96 into the 2000s. And it's still mind blowing to me that it's been 15 years since they've been in the World Series. Like, it's shocking to me, right? That
Yeah.
all the players that have come through there, they've never stopped spending. They've never stopped trying to be the best franchise in Major League Baseball. And yet, 15 years. It's been 15 years since the Yankees in the World Series. And I think it's really fitting that it's going to be the Yankees and the Dodgers, another rivalry that we used to see when we were, kids and teenagers, like in the late 70s into the 80s. So this is like a really cool World Series. And I'm actually like really excited to watch this, and now you've got the Fernando thing, you've got Ohtani, you got like big stars on both teams, and you got the Fernando thing. I think this is gonna be a really great series, like fun to watch. And the Dodgers might, because I like the Lakers winning that fake NBA title in the bubble. I don't count that Dodgers World Series in the strike shortened season as a World Series. So it's been a while for the Dodgers in my mind.
Yeah. And Dave Roberts has a lot to prove, right? Like he's had,
Great
like
teams.
Boone, right? Like they've
Well,
all
so does
had,
Boone. Yeah, so
yeah,
does
yeah,
Boone.
Yeah.
exactly. They've all had the players, but they haven't been able to close the
Yeah.
deal. There was something else I was going to say. I forget. Go ahead, Brian.
No, no, I'm really happy. I'm happy. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm happy. I like to see them. I like. I thought. I'll tell you right now. I thought if the Yankees were going to play the Mets would beat the Yankees. I just, for
Really?
some reason, I think they had the hitting. The Yankees, again, you could say what you want. The Yankees are like two and a half or three trick pony. It's Judge, Soto, and Stanton. Judge has not been hitting, so it's Stanton and Sosa. I mean, guys, the rest of those guys are not. They're okay, but they've been off and on. Every once in a while, one or two of them hits. I don't have any trust in the rest of the Yankees lineup. I don't. So that's a problem. Volpe has been pretty good. Chisholm's been awful. I just they're catching. They
R-
one home run. I mean, there hasn't done much.
yeah,
I'm just not.
Rizzo's been pretty good,
Yeah, but
and
he's only hitting singles. He's a
yeah,
singles hitter now.
yeah,
I, I
and
I just not. I'm not the Yankees lineup. It's not a championship lineup. So, but you do have three incredible. Like again, Stanton is unreal right now. This is great. I wish he could play like this all the time because he is on target. He's just hitting the ball great, and he's a force. Judge is not hit yet. This My one prediction is this, and I really want this to happen because I like the guy so much. I think he's gonna. I think now that they got to the World Series and that pressure is off him, he's gonna play great in the World Series. But that's what I hope. If he plays great, they're gonna win. I don't have any problem. It's Sosa's gonna be fine. Or Soto. I'm sorry. Soto's gonna be fine. But I don't know. I just don't think they have the hitting. Now go to the Dodgers. Same kind of thing. You have Ohtani, you have Mookie Betts, um, and really and truly, no one else really scares me on that team.
their lineup's pretty good, Brian. I
It's
mean,
okay, but it's okay.
Teoscar Hernandez
Yeah,
kills the
yeah,
Yankees.
okay, but he's an off and on guy. Like Muncy, he had a decent year this year, but he's been awful the last couple of years.
Yeah,
Some of these
yeah,
other guys are just not. They're decent, but they're for some reason they win. They win.
yeah.
Um, Mookie Betts is amazing. I don't think he ever gets enough credit for the player he is because he gets hurt a lot. But he is when he's on. I don't know. He might be even more dangerous than Ohtani, and that's saying a lot.
And he
But
played shortstop for a
oh,
good part of the year because their
yeah.
shortstop got hurt in spring training. So he is an incredible player.
So I think the fun part about this is you got you know 4 or 5 or 6 superstars playing, so it's going to be a good TV. But there's a lot of other bums. Now, here's the thing. One thing about the World Series, think about Brian Doyle, think about Bucky Dent, think about um, some of those people that out of the blue come through in that 7 games and do something crazy
Yeah.
that this is that time. The
Yep.
Gene Tennis was another one. Who were some great players? Like just you never hear they didn't do
Craig
anything during the
Counsell.
season, and then in the playoffs and World Series they did amazing. So I would love to see one of these guys do that, like be that next, Brian Doyle, right? Who's going to come in and just do something crazy, because that's going to make or break the World Series. Because I think superstars wise, they're pretty matched up. So let's go through. I think we jumped into this pretty quick, but I really felt bad for the Mets fans. I thought the Mets it was a good ride. With the Indians, ah, I mean,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
The
whoa,
Guardians.
the
whoa.
Guardians, okay, whatever. I still can't even justify saying that. Um, the Guardians, I don't think they deserve to be where they were, and their strong suit was their bullpen, and that blew apart, and then that was it. So they didn't have the hitting. They didn't have the hitting. And so I didn't think that the Yankees had any chance of losing to the Guardians. The only thing that would have happened was if Clase was just that man and he was mowing everybody down. But even he was, he's human, and
Or did
they
they
hit him.
figure him out? Like, did the
Well,
Yankees
when you
have something? Then they figured, because literally, or was he just tired
I
from the
think what
season?
did you notice that his pitch count was really high, and I think what they were trying to do is just they take a lot of pitches.
Yeah,
Let's build up his pitch count.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, they were clobbering him. I mean, it wasn't even close. They clobbered him. So which
Yeah.
is very interesting.
there's a
But
lot of pressure in that moment too, though, right? That's what I was thinking. This guy was lights out. They bring him in. It's like, hey, you got to get through Soto, you got to get through Judge, you got to get through Stanton. It's the Yankees, right? Like, no matter what, it's still the Yankees. I always wonder how much pressure comes into it. Like, you could be great in the regular season,
yes,
but coming in that situation, so that was game 3 where he gave it the back-to-back home runs, right? So now, like, the season is hinging on him, right? And he's facing these two home run hitters, like two great home run hitters, and those guys like took him deep, like back to back. I'm like, I was thinking like, this guy might not be made for the moment, right? Because then the next day he came out and he got banged up again. So, and like you said, Brian, like Yankees take a lot of pitches and stuff, and I'm sure with all of the analytics and everything, they're like, here's where the pitch is coming, and guys were prepared, and all of that plus this guy trying to close it out in front of his home crowd in the big moment. I'm always wondering like how much of it is the pressure of the moment too.
Do you think he was tipping pitches or something? I mean, he just got hit so hard, which, I mean, he was in the Cy Young running, this year, or still is, right? They were talking about MVP. That's what a good year that he had, a great year that he had. And I mean, he just couldn't perform. And look, I don't blame the manager. He had to keep going to him. He's his
Yeah,
horse. But
that's your guy.
the Yankees, everybody were hitting him. It
Yeah.
was tough to see. But
But
I don't
everyone
know.
got hit, right? Hunter Gaddis was great
yeah,
all
now everybody was
season.
getting hit.
He got
The
hammered too.
Yankees. Yeah, I don't know. Again, Stanton was unreal. He was just hitting anything. I
Play
just think
off him.
he was so ready. Like that's the guy I wish we saw more of, because that's how he used to be when he was on the Marlins way back
Wow,
in the
yeah.
day.
So he got
He
that
was
contract.
Oh my God, he was so on target. Every pitch he was going after, and I think that's important. Soto. I love what I like about Soto is if he doesn't see this is a Pete Rose thing we talked about Pete Rose. If he doesn't see a pitch he likes, he kind of fouls it off. He's
Yeah,
that good of a player. He can do that. He's like, I don't want that. Boom, fouls it off.
yeah,
And I'm waiting for my pitch. I love that about him.
yeah.
He's an amazing hitter. He's a smart hitter. Um, and again, Judge is going to find his groove. Now he had a couple nice hits in that series, and he still plays a darn good outfield. And that's another thing. I think the Yankees outfield is playing very well right now. So if they stay that way too, that's important.
So who
So,
was your wild card guy, Bry? You said earlier. Was it Jazz Chisholm?
well, I would like to see Judge Chisholm. No, I think Volpe could be.
Volpe. Okay.
I think Volpe could be. I just for some reason he's starting to hit.
I'm
But
going to take Verdugo. I think Verdugo started to hit against the Guardians, and I think he can come up with some clutch hits to turn the lineup over to get back to Torres and Soto and Judge. And I think he's clutch when the games are biggest. Like he had his best games when he was going back to the Red Sox this year, and I think he's going to have great games going back to his Dodger ground. So I'm going to take him as the wild card guy.
Okay, so let's go through. Let's look at. Okay, we're going to do a review of the positions. Catchers. So we got Wells and
Will Smith.
Trevino, right, against Will Smith and Barnes.
Yeah.
Will Smith is better than any of those guys.
He is the Fresh Prince. So
yeah, there you go. But again, he's not great.
But
the difference between the two of them is very slight. But I think they're a little bit better. It's not.
But
much.
when Wells is hitting, he's the best hitter.
But he doesn't hit anymore. He gave up hitting.
Awful.
He's awful. He's been awful since the All-Star break. He's been awful since the All-Star break. That's a long slump.
But
he carried them.
One more hit than Alex.
he carried.
For like 2 weeks.
Yankees.
Yeah, for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, I don't. He's got to do something. He's got to hit because again, I thought he actually might have been coming out of it the other day because he hasn't been striking out as much. He's been getting some good swings in, so maybe he could be that guy.
And
but,
some
okay,
but
right now I'm giving that to the Dodgers. I can't. We can't. It's a real slight edge. I mean, minor slight edge, but Smith is good. So okay, first base we have Freddie Freeman against a cast of characters.
Is Freddie Freeman healthy?
Well, he's hurt.
He's not.
Yeah. I think Rizzo, and I think Rizzo's hurt too. I don't know.
Well, Rizzo and Freeman are really good friends too. It's a funny thing.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah. There's an article in the paper today about the fact that they're both injured. They're both hurting, but they're both friends. But they're going to play.
Yeah.
I
call it a wash.
Yeah, I mean, if it was not injury, Freeman's better than anybody the Yankees could put there.
Totally agree. 100%.
But right now it's just a wash. I don't think there's we can do anything here.
He couldn't run.
Yeah.
Freeman couldn't run in the Mets series. I watched most of those games, and I think he sat out 1 or 2 games, and he got on first base, and he's like, even to take a lead, he was like wincing. So he's hurt pretty bad, I think, and the time off will help him obviously. But I agree with you, Bryan. He's head and shoulders above everybody if he's healthy.
Okay, so how about second base? So we got. Is Edman going to be there, or is he going to play outfield? That's what I'm trying to figure it out. There's Tommy Edman.
Edman will be there. He'll be shortstop. Gavin Lux.
or Kiki Hernandez.
I think they're going to do Kiki in center field.
Kiki's a very good playoff performer. Always.
Yeah, he is.
Nothing in the regular season. For some reason, he does great.
Yeah.
I don't know. Second base.
Gleyber
is guy. That's the guy. That's the guy who can make a difference too. Gleyber could be that guy to make a difference because he's been hot.
Yeah, he
sets the table, right? He gets on base, and you have
he's playing for a contract too. He's playing for a contract.
That's an interesting topic.
Yeah,
there.
Yeah,
Gleyber's contract.
Yeah, so second base is I give to the Yankees.
Yeah.
Shortstop. So it could be Edman.
Edman, yeah.
Versus Volpe.
Volpe, yeah.
Edman's been hot, but Volpe has actually been okay. It's a wash. I can't really. Edman's, he's normally not. He hit great last series, but that's not normal him.
Yeah.
Well, it was the Mets too, right? The Mets pitching was so awful. I think some of these Dodger stats in the NLCS are probably a little bit skewed too.
That's true.
Volpe is a really good. He's an amazing fielder, and he's also a hustle guy. Even if they both hit 250, I'd rather take Volpe at 250 because he does more.
He runs the bases exceptionally well.
Yeah, I'm a big
taking
Volpe
the
fan.
extra
I like
days.
him.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, so we'll give shortstop to the Yankees. Again, slight edge, not a big edge. Third base. So we have Jazz Chisholm, who has not hit a lick.
His base running's been terrible too.
It's horrible.
And I like Jazz, but I just don't.
I love him.
So now is that who's third? Is
Max Muncy?
Max Muncy. Okay, Max Muncy is a guy who historically has been hitting awful the last 3 or 4 years, but all of a sudden this year he started to play good. I'm not too worried about Max Muncy. Yeah, he hits the home runs once in a while. You have to be careful. He's an all or nothing guy.
Yeah,
but I can't. I might have to give that to the Dodgers because Chisholm just can't. He's not hitting.
Right. The one thing that I love about Jazz is the moment is never too big.
No.
Like that dude, you could put him at any position and he's like, I got it. You know what I mean? Like then the Yankees moving him to third base.
He's
He
another
never
guy,
played
yeah.
at third base. And he's like, balls are rocketed at him, line drives,
Oh.
and he just catches them and flips them up, and that's it. I definitely love him.
If he hits, again, that's another thing. If he hits for some reason, that's
Yeah.
it. The Yankees got it. Okay.
Agreed.
So outfield, we have Teoscar Hernandez. It's going to be
Kiki Hernandez.
Betts, Teoscar, and then you either have Pages,
Yeah.
Chris Taylor, Kiermaier,
Kiki Hernandez.
and Kiki. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kiki's good, but again, the Yankees blow that away. Like the Yankees outfielders are so much better.
Yeah.
And again, even Verdugo, who, yes, he doesn't hit that much anymore, but he's an amazing fielder.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to give that to the Yankees. I can't say, like, you could say Judge Betts a wash. Then you have Soto. They have no one at that level.
Right.
No one at that level. So the Yankees get outfield. I can't see them not getting outfield. Okay, DH.
I can't remember his name, but the guy in the Dodgers is pretty.
Godzilla.
Good God.
Yeah. You know what, though? I mean, the DH isn't playing in the field.
Yeah.
So the only advantage I think that Ohtani has over Stanton is the base on the base paths, right? Like stealing bases and stuff like that. So it's not a huge advantage because you're not getting any defense it's not like one of them's terrible defense and one of them's great. If, you got to say Stanton's going to hit home runs, Ohtani's going to hit home runs. Ohtani may hit for a little higher average. And then, I think where it becomes, the difference maker is his speed on the bases. Which Stanton has no speed at all. So it's not like this huge plus, but clearly it's a plus. But will he pitch?
Yeah.
That's
he's
the
not
rumor.
He's not going to pitch.
That's the rumor.
I could see if it's the seventh game and they run out of pitchers
out of the bullpen or something. Yeah.
But when he jeopardizes his career, again, and this is his first playoffs, guys. Like this is his first World Series. No, it's also Judge's first World Series. But Ohtani, he played all those years with the Angels and they never got a sniff of anything. And he's been okay. Like he hasn't been great. He started out gangbusters and then kind of tapered off. And he's had a couple bad at bats. He's still great. So got a pitch around him. They have their top three of the lineup is tough, just like the Yankees, right? It's tough. You got to get through them. But the bottom of both of these lineups stink.
Yeah.
Again,
I think the Dodgers lineup is deeper than the Yankees lineup. I really do. I don't know if you're giving enough credit to some of those guys.
I don't know. I'm from fantasy baseball. I look at these guys and no one picked up any of these guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Teoscar has his moments.
He killed the Yankees this year. I mean, home run after home run after home run. But hopefully he got it out of his system.
Yeah, but Gavin Lux. I mean, there's no one on that team that really scares me besides the two right now.
Yeah. Well, what about pitching, Bri? I mean, starting pitching.
So starting pitching, I think the Yankees kind of blow them away because they have everybody hurt.
Right.
Okay, so Cole. Who's better than Cole right now on the Dodgers? Nobody.
Walker Buehler's probably the closest, I think.
Yeah, but he's been awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't pitched well.
Oh, in normal situation, yeah. But not now. I don't think Walker Buehler's going to do that. Let's see. How about Jack Flaherty? He had one good game and one awful game, right?
Yamamoto.
I know. I mean, is he really that good? He's been pretty good.
Yeah.
But is he? I don't know. Is he the guy you want to have in a World Series game? I don't know.
I mean, personally, I'm worried about Cole. Like, out of his last 3 starts, he's had one really good one and 2 where he's just kind of kept him in it. So, not so great. So I think Cole at his best is the best pitcher in the series.
So here's the guys that I could tell you that I know who I think are so Dodgers bullpen. I'm going to tell you, I like Kopech. He's pretty good. He was our closer for a good chunk of the year, but is he as good as Clase? No, he's not. Blake Trinian, he's also very good. You got that guy. He's 6'5". He's a good pitcher. I like him too. Um, that's the rest of their team. Everybody's hurt. They had some other great pitchers. Landon Knack's not bad, and he's a starter. Um, but I think he's their fourth starter right now. He used to be a
Yeah.
long reliever all year. This is what's happening with their team. They just have so many
Well,
injuries.
yeah, they've been throwing bullpen games. I mean, they threw bullpen games against the Mets. I think they did it twice, where they just bring bullpen guys in for the whole game. So, and that's how they're making up for it.
It's a revolving door.
Yeah, yeah, puts a lot of pressure on Dave Roberts. Pick the
Yeah.
right guy at the right time.
Oh, they have so many people on the injury list that it's sad because they have some really good players on the injury list.
I mean, yeah, Clayton Kershaw started, right?
Gavin Stone too
Yeah.
who had a good year.
And May,
Tony
right?
Gosselin, Tyler Glasnow. I mean, they have some good players. So yes, it's a. I think Joe Kelly. They have Joe Kelly too. I don't know if he's hurt too. Yeah, he is hurt. He's not on the roster right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm surprised. We'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll definitely see what happens. But the Yankees bullpen again. Yeah, Clay Holmes. I just don't know about him. He was doing so well until that last game. So maybe that was an aberration. Um,
I think it was a situational thing. I think if they bring him in the sixth inning or the seventh inning, I think he's going to be fine. Kind of starting out the inning, and hey, the sixth is yours. He'll give up a hit or two, but I think he'll perform much better than, oh my God, you got to hold this lead for us. At this point, I think he's beyond that now. But I think he'd be a great, Carlos Rodon goes 5 innings. They bring Holmes in the sixth, and then they get somebody to get him through the seventh, and then maybe Tommy Canely or something, and then they roll with the big guns. So I still have faith in Clay Holmes in the earlier innings.
I like him. He was throwing the ball so good until that one game.
Yeah.
Tim Hill has been impressed me a lot. Canely has impressed me a lot. I thought he was washed up, and he's coming back.
I may have said this to you guys before, but does Tim Hill look like he smokes Marlboros?
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious.
And drinks PBR and pulls up in his Pontiac Firebird for every game. Right?
Gotta love it though. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I love that guy.
The beer league guy.
And Luke Weaver, you can't say enough about Luke Weaver. He had one bad game, but Luke Weaver, you can't say enough about the guy.
Oh yeah, he's great.
When he's on, he's hard to hit.
Mark
Leiter surprised me. Mark Leiter Jr. surprised me. Again, he's been awful this year, but he came through when they needed him.
Yep.
If he can play like that, if he can pitch like that, I like Cousins too, but he's been off and on.
He ate up a lot of innings in the Guardian series as well. He did a good job.
But I think the Yankees starting pitching is way better. I mean, you have Cole, you have Heel, Rodon, Cortez, and Schmidt. But I like Schmidt a lot. So
me too.
I would rather go with Schmidt than Nasty Nestor. But I think if Nestor's healthy, they're gonna put him in.
I think Nestor's good. He's not healthy. I think he's going to come out of the bullpen. He's going to be a lefty in the bullpen for them. If somebody goes short, they go 4 innings or something, a starter. I think he's going to come in because I think he's still hurt. And he kind of came out and said, hey, if I blow my arm out and I lose a season, but we win the World Series, I'm okay with that. So I think he knows he's still hurt. And I think he would just be finessing it up there. But if you need somebody to come in and eat up 2 or 3 innings, I think that's probably what they would use him for. Or pair him with Carlos Rodon, just say, look, Rodon, get us through 5, and then we're going to bring in Nestor and ride him as long as we can and maybe try to save the bullpen that game, something like that.
So I have another question. Is DJ LeMahieu still on their roster?
He's hurt, I think.
Okay. I like Birdie. Birdie is an interesting guy. When he was on the Marlins last year, he was a really good player. When the Yankees picked him up, I said, hey, that was a good pickup.
Great
and
glove.
He was hurt for most of the year, but he could be another X factor. I think you never know with that guy.
Yeah,
if he ever hits like he did in the Marlins last year, that would be great, but he hasn't.
But hey, go play first base because Rizzo gets hurt, and it's no problem. Cabrera, the same thing, right? I know Cabrera had played some first base, but I don't know that Birdie had ever played first base, right?
He was a yeah.
And
He used to
just a
lead off for
great
the
glove.
Marlins. He used to lead off for the Marlins. He was he led the league in steals one year.
Really,
He's
yeah.
a good player. Like he
Yeah.
just for the Yankees, he's had an injury bug. Yeah, I'm looking at their roster right now. It says DJ LeMahieu's on their team. I can't see him. He's got to be hurt.
No, he's not on he's on the 40-man roster, I think. Right.
Yes, 40 man. He
But
has
I
it.
think you only carry 20, 27 or 28 in the.
Okay. Yeah, he's on the
Yeah,
40 man roster.
yeah.
Okay, good.
So,
I don't want that guy batting.
yeah.
No. I gave up on him a long time ago.
But think about the bullpen arms the Yankees are missing, right? Loizaga. Imagine if they had
I
him
like
too.
Loizaga, yes.
I mean,
yeah.
that's an inning right there.
But the Dodgers are missing. The Dodgers are missing probably 4 men out of their bullpen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like I'd rather take that. But Loizaga, yeah, he would be great right now.
Yeah,
I like him. He's one of my favorite Yankees. So I love the way he pitches. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm looking at this, and I can't see. It's gonna go 6 games probably. Again, this is my opinion. 6 games, but Yankees are gonna win 4-2.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Wow.
that's my thought right now. I don't know how you guys feel. Go ahead.
Dodgers are
Is
currently
this
favored.
2-3-2? Or are they
Yeah.
doing is
2-3-2.
2-3-2?
Yeah, I think so.
I hate that format. All you got to do if you're the Dodgers is survive to Game 6. But
Yeah.
I
But
really
the Yankees have the best road record in the league this year.
Yeah, I'm expecting a big series from Garrett Cole. I have this sense, and we were talking about like, hey, is it going to be a high scoring series where these pitchers aren't going to be able to handle each other? Like this is what you paid Garrett Cole for. I know he's been injured, and he pitched 100 innings all year or whatever. But I think he's got to come through. Like this is why he came to the Yankees, right? This is what they paid him for. And this is like a chance for him to redeem himself for the tough season. So he goes out in Game 1. I think it's going to be really emotional tomorrow because of the whole Fernando thing. Crowd is amped up. I think there's a lot of pressure on the Dodgers. Obviously, there's always pressure on the Yankees, but I feel like there's pressure on the Dodgers with the big payroll and Dave Roberts. I kind of have a sense that Garrett Cole is going to come out, pitch really well tomorrow, get him deep into the game, and kind of shorten the game a bit because I'm just driven crazy when I'm watching these games. Like the starter pitches 2 innings and it's 8 guys. I can't keep track of who's pitching. So I kind of feel like Garrett Cole's going to step up tomorrow, grind them through 6 innings, kind of mow down.
What's your prediction for the series?
I think the Yankees are winning in 6 as well.
Okay,
Man,
Alex?
I want that to happen. I worry about the Dodgers. I just think they can hit, and I'm going to stay taking the Yankees, but I'm going to say it's going to take 7.
Wow.
Because I think the Dodgers have just such a good. I think the Dodgers are favored in Vegas.
They are favored. They're favored.
Yeah.
But I
But I
just
think Mike, you're right. I think Garrett Cole has to pitch well because
Yeah,
they have to
has
get
to.
2 games from him at a minimum, and he has to pitch well in both games. It can't be 5 innings and a tie score or something like that, or he gives up his 2 home runs in the game and it's 4-2 and he leaves the game. He has to leave the game, and they have to be winning the game for them to be able to win. So.
Yeah. So MVP, I'm going to say Judge. I want it to be Judge. There's nothing in my heart that I want it to be Judge. I think he deserves it. It's his time. I want to see him shine. I really do. I want him to be the guy. I would love it to be Cole too.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, I don't want it to be Jason Dominguez, or I don't want I want it to be Judge. If Judge is the MVP, it'll just things will. I don't know. Things will be right in the world for me. So I want him to be I like the guy so much. I want him to get this off his back.
I'm going to say Soto, and I'm going to say Soto because they're going to worry about Judge because the whole Ohtani Judge thing, and I think Soto is going to have a little less pressure, and they're going to be willing to pitch to him with Judge behind him, and I think Soto is going to be the MVP.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with Garrett Cole. I'm gonna ride Garrett Cole to the MVP seat here. 2 solid starts, right? We're talking about hitting. I'm that's where it needs, because Alex said, right, really good hitting lineup. We know the Yankees have a lot of great hitters as well. So I'm going to go with the pitcher, just to mute the Dodgers lineup here. I would love to see Judge do it too. It'd be so fitting, right? He's been a great Yankee, great personality, great guy, great careers, the Paul Bunyan of baseball now. It would be such a cool story. So I would not be opposed if it is him, but I'm going to go with Garrett Cole. Like this is what they signed him for, and he's finally got him back, and it's like, let's win this thing.
And
Truthfully,
maybe he'll smile.
Yeah, maybe he will. I wouldn't even care if a Jazz Chisholm is the MVP. I'll be happy
Oh,
because it means
I
the
love
Yankees
that
won.
guy.
That means the Yankees won, right?
Yeah.
Like if any of these guys get,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't care if Marcus Stroman comes off and pitches great for 3 games in relief and gets the MVP. I'll be very happy because that means the Yankees won. Okay, guys, great episode. We will see what happens. We're looking forward to it. We'll check back in afterwards and see if we were right, and if we were wrong, we'll all be sulking because we're all rooting for the Yankees. Yes.
Go Yankees.
Okay. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
See you.
This is Tom Carvel. Thank you for listening to 3 the Hard Way Sports Podcast.